We're now joined by Isabel Hilton, who is the editor of China Dialogue. Isabel, thanks so much for your time this evening. Do you fear that this is the end of press freedom in Hong Kong?
Well, I think that's certainly what it's intended to be. If you read some of the other, well, there is a pro-Beijing press which is cheering this on. Then there are papers like the South China Morning Post, which is a Hong Kong institution, which reported this relatively cautiously. I think in other circumstances, this would definitely have been, its major story, and it would have taken a stronger line. But essentially, a newspaper is being driven into bankruptcy. People are being put in prison for doing things which were not crimes when they did them. So, there is no national security justification for this. There's barely a legal justification for this at all. So you have to say, well, why are they doing it? And one clue as to why they're doing it are in the words of a former Hong Kong chief executive and suspected member of the Chinese Communist Party, Chi-wai, who is a long-standing critic of the paper, who has cheered on the national security law and essentially has also accused the paper of simply going too far, of working with foreign agents and so on. And these charges are nonsensical, so intimidation would appear to be the main motive.
And do you think you mentioned other newspapers in the region, they're being cautious also because they're being told to watch or warned to watch what they report?
Well, they were being warned. I have to say, the chief of police issued a very disturbing statement, which essentially said the so-called journalists of Apple Daily are not really journalists, and if you support them or if you associate with them, you will come to regret it. Well, that's, a pretty direct threat, frankly. And so I think they hope that with closing down Apple Daily, which is the bravest and boldest of the critics, partly because Jimmy Lai was a very rich man and he could support the paper and really didn't, so he wasn't subject to financial intimidation. But, if he can be closed down, then the others can perhaps be tamed. And Hong Kong was always a place where information circulated that was not available in China. So if you remember, 5 booksellers were arrested for publishing material that, again, the Beijing didn't like, publishing books about the leadership, for example. And Jimmy Lai is in that mold. He's part of a tradition in Hong Kong of press freedom, of civic freedoms, of the freedoms that were guaranteed under the Basic Law and are now being dismantled.
Yeah, worrying developments there for press freedom in Hong Kong. Isabel Hilton, thanks so much for joining us.